Good afternoon to you all and welcome to the second statistics video. So today we'll be talking about descriptive statistics and we just dive right in. So descriptive statistics. When we talk about descriptive statistics, we simply talk about describing the variables in a data without making an inferred meaning. What does this mean? It means that you are just analyzing those variables you got after you did your data collection and you are not making an inference about it. You're not making an inference to make a decision on it. So let's take this example of, okay, say you want to conduct a study to assess if social demographic factors like age, level of education, marital status affect the number of pregnant women attending antenatal care. So I'll try to share the data that I worked on having these social demographic factors so that you guys will understand what I'm trying to talk about. Okay, so this is the Excel sheet, and this Excel sheet is showing age, level of education, marital status, ANC registration, and a whole lot of variables. And like I said earlier in the first video, that the umbrella term is called the data and then the columns are called variables. So this is the level of education and all. Okay, let me see if I can share the report first before I show this data. This is the report, and here it says, this chapter shows the analysis and presentation of data gotten from the respondents and interprets the results in response to the research question with a whole lot of grammars. If you scroll down, you see table 1, social demographic parameters of the respondents, showing variables, age, level of education, and marital status. And this table just simply explains the number of persons that are less than 20 years old, and that frequency is expressed in percentage, and that's how it goes for all the variables. If you scroll further down, okay, let's scroll up. You can see the statement here saying table 1 shows that 19 persons, brackets 12.7% of the respondents are less than 20 years old. Is showing the frequency and percentage of persons between 21 and 25 years old. 50 percentage of persons between 26 and 30 years old, and further it goes to express the number of percentage of respondents that had formal education, primary education, secondary education. So it's just simply telling the frequency of percentages, and that's the way descriptive statistics it doesn't make any inferred meaning. It's just telling you how many of this, the percentage of this of a variable. It's not making any inferred meaning. Okay, so let's go back to the data. Okay, so we're back to the data, and here level of education and everything. So what we are going to do first is that we are going to code and recode these variables, and we are coding so that when we import into our SPSS, we'll recode. When we get to SPSS, I will tell you the importance of coding and recoding. So now to code for this, our age is already in a numerical value, so we don't need to code for that again. So to code for the level of education and everything, what we're going to do is we'll click on that column and then we'll press Ctrl+Shift+L. You see a filter icon that appears when you press Ctrl+Shift+L. You click on the drop-down box, you see a whole lot of values that make up the variables. And here is no formal education, primary education, secondary education, and tertiary education. So to unselect all, we'll click the select all, and then we've unselected everything, and then we'll click no formal education, click OK, and we can see that it's just no formal education that appears from top to this place. So the no formal education. Now, if you look down below, you see code book, and in our code, what our code book is just trying to communicate to us is that this is going to be like a reference guide while we are going to code. Here now, this is no formal education. We are coding no formal education as 1. So we'll go back to our main data. We've already filtered for no formal education. We press 1, and then we go to the end of the cell. We'll drag and drop. And that is it. So we go again to filter for primary education. And in our primary education, if you look at our code book, our primary education is 2. So we go back to our sheet, we filter for primary education. Primary education shows, we code it as 2, we drag and drop. We go again, we filter for secondary education. Secondary education is coded as 3, we drag and drop. We go again, we filter for tertiary education. Tertiary education is coded as 4. We drag, we drag and drop. And then you should also have it at the back of your mind that once you filter, you unfilter. Remember, when we said to filter, you press Ctrl-Shift-L. To unfilter, you do the same thing, Ctrl-Shift-L. You go to the next column, Ctrl-Shift-L. The filter icon shows, and then these are the attributes. If we go to the code book, we are saying that our divorced is 1, married 2, single 3, and widowed 4. So we filter for our divorced. The divorced shows, and we code it as 1. Now remember, in the level of education, we dragged and dropped. So this one now we are going to double click. And to double click, you put the cursor at the end of your cell. It shows a plus sign, and then you double click. Everything shows. You filter for married 2, you double click, everything shows. But now the disadvantage of this double clicking is that if there is an empty cell, the empty cell interrupts the flow. Let's say row number 13 has an empty cell, and then number 10 is number 10 has a value in it. Okay, number 10 has a value in it. So if you just click, this cell number 13 will interrupt. And we already know that our number 2 is married. So from 14 downwards will be married instead of 222, because your 13 interrupted the flow. Let me see if I can actually do something. Okay, let me open a new sheet so that you can understand what I'm trying to talk about. Let's say this is marital status, and here is divorced. And then for some reasons, when they were imputing the data, they missed. So let's say here divorced. Oh yeah, that was, and then row number 16 was omitted. Then the rest divorced. Now we're already seeing our code book that divorced is 1. So let's go to this sheet. I'm trying to explain something to you guys. You see that we are coding here as 1. Now we are double clicking and not drag and drop. So take note, we are double clicking. You see, number 16 now is causing that interruption. So the rest will not code as 1. The rest will still remain as divorced, but the cells above the interruption will code. So I believe that you all understand what I'm trying to talk about. Okay, let's try drag and drop. Divorce. We are returning it back to the way we did it. Now this cell number 16 is still missing. We put drag and drop. We put 1 as our code. We drag and we drop to. I see cell number 16 now is now as 1. So I hope you understand what I was trying to explain. So we delete this sheet. All right. We continue our coding. Single is 3. Double click. Widowed is 4. Double click. We unfilter. Then traditional bet home, filter. On our code book, you're saying that traditional bet home is 2 and public and private is 1. So we filter for public and private 1. Traditional bet home 2. We unfilter. And then as you go further in the data, you see that everything is now yes and no, yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. So what we are going to do, we go to our code book and we click and we impute no as 0 and yes as 1. So we filter, Control-Shift-L, no as 0 and yes as 1. Control-Shift-L, move to the second one, Control-Shift-L, no, 0, and yes as 1. So that's how you do it for all the variables. Okay, so this is my coded Excel sheet. As you can see, we've coded everything. Go back, you can see everything is coded. We go to our code book, and our code book is still there for reference, for guidance. Okay, so I think it's time to open our SPSS. We're going to import this our coded book now into SPSS. It's my SPSS. Okay, so to import, before we import, I just like to say that there are new versions of SPSS. I think it's up to version 28 or 26. I am not that sure. So the point I'm trying to make is that the way I'll import here, there are some modifications in the new versions. So you should just look out for that in case you're using a newer version. I'm using version 20. And that's like a very old version. So if you're using version 25, 26, 23, I believe there are little modifications that are made. So we go to File. We go to File. We go to Open. We go to Data. we click here, these files of type Excel. Then I saved it in my work files. So I just have to look for my work files. Then I saved it as my personal worksheet. Oh, all right, yeah. I used to see my screen. Okay, I'm so sorry. So this is our imported data from Excel. And this view now we are currently on is data view, and this view is a variable view. So what's gonna happen is that we are going to recode this level of education and marital status and a whole lot of things back to their normal identification. That's no formal education, primary education. We're going to recode them. And to do that, we go to our variable view. We click on each of the row, this column now, values. We click on the values of each of the rows. None, click on it. We coded one as no formal education. We coded two as primary education. We coded three as secondary education. And we coded four as tertiary education. And that's okay. See, it shows here in our values. We go to our data view. It's supposed to show. If it doesn't show, you click on this icon here. Oh my God. Nope, wrong. It's not supposed to be for that. It's not supposed, I did it for the wrong sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay, so let's go to the normal place you're supposed to do it. I'm so sorry for that mix up. No formal education, 1. 2, primary education. 3, secondary education. And 4, tertiary education. Click OK. It shows. We go to our data view. It's showing already. We do the same for marital status. We coded one as divorced, 2 as married, 3 as single, and 4 as widowed. That's it. We go to our data view. It's already there. Place of ANC registration. We coded, sorry, private or public as 1. Now we coded 2 as traditional bet home. We go to our data view and it's showing. So the rest of the values are 0 and 1. So we coded 0 as no, and we coded 1 as yes. So, okay, so we just copy and paste. Sorry. Copy. Paste. So all of them, as you can see, is no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, and no, yes. So now to run the descriptive statistics of that report I showed you guys, that's the frequency and percentage. You just go to analyze, we go to descriptive statistics, we go to frequency. Since we're just looking for percentages and the number, we're not looking for the mean, median, and mode. We just want to know the numbers. So we just put in a level of education. Let's start with level of education. We go, we display, if you want, you click on statistics, you can see the whole of this stuff showing on your screen, but we don't want that now. So we'll come back to it. So display, click. If your display frequency table is not showing, but you want frequency table, you click on it. It shows this, like it ticks good, then you press OK. And then you can see no formal education, the frequency, the percent, the valid percent, and the cumulative percent. But I like to say that if we had a missing data, like if this missing here shows 3, instead of taking our percent, we take our valid percent instead. But right now we don't have any missing data, so our percent and our valid percent is the same thing. So you go to, if you want to run a marital statistics, you go to analyze, descriptive statistics, frequencies, we uncheck level of education, we put in marital status, our display frequency tables is already there, we press OK, and our descriptives for our marital status is below. Divorced at 35, valid percent 23.3, no missing data, single 42, valid percent 28.0, then single, married 42, valid percent 28.0, single 58, valid percent 38.7. Let's run for age and just watch what will happen. We press frequencies, we uncheck marital status, we put in our age, our display frequency table is already clicked on, we press OK, and then it shows a lot of data that really does not communicate anything. So what we are going to do instead is that we are going to run this analysis and we are going to bin the ages. So we go to transform, visual binning, we put in our age, we press continue. Then here is going to be our age card because we're going to categorize them. We make cut points. Here is 20, width of 5. Shows, you click on apply. It shows this. You click on your make labels and then your labels shows. You click on OK. It's showing business specification. We create one variable, say OK. And then it has, and then you go to your data, you see that your age cut